Hello, I'm on episode number 370, I believe, 2 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be Raw for week 1 of June 2023, and it is the show after a very filler but also very fun Starrcade pay-per-view. And yeah, tonight we build towards Money in the Bank. We've got 4 Money in the Bank qualifying matches tonight, 2 for the men, 2 for the women. We also have, fallout from that big angle at the end of Starrcade with Adam Cole revealing his true colours, and Nebula returning to confront Charlotte Flair on that pay-per-view. Let's see what the fallout from that is as we head towards Money in the Bank in 3 weeks' time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Without any more further ado, though, let's jump straight into the show. We open up with that son of a bitch, Adam Cole, and Paragon come out. And he goes, "Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby?" I know I am. I've been ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby, for 3 weeks now. You see, Cody Rhodes, your hero, your American nightmare, is nothing more than a fraud. Okay? Cody Rhodes runs around here like he's one of us, but he's not. Cody was adopted when he got fired from this place for not being good enough to cut it out, and he latched onto the hot thing, and we were the hot thing at the time, and now all of a sudden Cody thinks he's in the club for life. Well, no, let me tell you this, Cody. Man to man, listen here, I know you're watching. I'm going to cut right to the chase, cut the crap. Me to you. I having the time of my life. Now I've left all that crap in the dust. Okay, Finn and AJ, this goes to you as well. But mainly that son of a bitch, Cody Rhodes. You see, the Paragon here, this is the real best group to ever step foot into a wrestling ring. We're better than the Undisputed Era ever was, okay? And I've got the War Games medal now to prove it. Undisputed Era may have been the kings of War Games, but how many did we really win? Let's be real. It's all down to Adam Cole, baby, and the Paragon. This is going to be a big night. Big couple of weeks for the Paragon, baby, because guess what? Next week, my boys here, Kevin and David Fritz, Tag Team Royalty, are going to get the chance to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions when they take on Path of the Dragon here on Raw next week. And also next week, my man Bobby Roode gets a chance to qualify for Money in the Bank when he takes on Finn Balor and Jeff Jarrett. And that just leaves Adam Cole, baby. And Cody, your schedule seems free for London, so I'm officially opening up the challenge. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, if he's a real man, puts that championship on the line against the best damn wrestler on the planet, the best damn wrestler here in this damn company, Adam Cole, baby. Unless he's too scared. And then we close the chapter on Adam Cole, baby's arc with Cody Rhodes. And we open up a new chapter of the book of the Paragon, the book of Adam Cole, baby, the next story in my storied career as the new WWE Champion. Boom. So yeah, Adam Cole, baby. No bullshit. Kind of right to the chase, right to the meat of the matter. You know. Cody Rhodes, fake-ass Bullet Club member, he called him. And challenged him for a WWE Championship match at Money in the Bank. Called him a fraud and a leecher and a lot of other things. And Cody's not here right now, but we'll have to see if Cody does respond to Adam Cole by the end of the night. An 89 rated opening match is the first Money in the Bank qualifier. Bianca Belair is officially a wish down. She wished for Montez Ford to get this opportunity. Because, the doctors had advised against Tez wrestling in this match because he got beat up by Gunther 2 weeks ago and then beat up by Nakamura last week. But it's him and Shinsuke. Bianca Belair's wish was Batista's command. He can't turn that down. And she may have wasted it because Tez, is beaten up and is injured. Is beaten by Shinsuke with a Kinshasa in 15:59. So the first confirmed entrant into the men's Money in the Bank ladder match in London in 3 weeks' time is Shinsuke Nakamura of Ichiban. He gets a 91, Montez Ford gets a 74. So an 89 is a very good match given that. And yeah, Shinsuke beats Montez. Well, we're going to find out the second man in the match in the main event tonight with Ward and Rey Mysterio, Grayson Waller, and Dominik Mysterio in a fatal 4-way. After that, we then cut to a video package. It's like showcasing the career of Sheamus. And it's narrated by Chad Gable. He's talking about Sheamus' accomplishments, debuting on the main roster in 2009 and shocking the world after just a few months, defeating John Cena to become the WWE Champion, a title he went on to hold 3 more times. He then goes on to talk about the World Heavyweight Championship reign that Sheamus had, and how he held that thing twice, including last year. His 3 United States Championship reigns, his many Tag Team Championship reigns alongside Cesaro, and all of this, King of the Ring, Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank. Is there anything this man can't do? And then Gabe was like, yes, there is. Because you see, throughout Sheamus' historic career, there's one thing that has always allured him, and he makes sure to let you know about it. And that's become Intercontinental Champion. And he shows like a montage of Sheamus losing IC title matches throughout the years. I think the first one goes back to, in this save, SummerSlam 2020, he fought Cesaro for the IC title. He's been in 2 ladder matches at WrestleMania for him. He's had a couple of matches against Gable. And yeah, like they're just playing in the background as Gable talks about how Sheamus can't get the job done when that title's on the line. But you know who can? You know who is good enough to hold that championship? Master Gable himself. Because opponent after opponent have stepped up, and I've put them in their place. And at Money in the Bank, you're looking at the man who's going to end Sheamus' Intercontinental Championship dreams once and for all. Thank you. We then cut to Batista's office when Charlotte walks in. He's like, he goes, can I help you? She goes, so we're not going to talk about Starrcade? He's like, yeah, it was a great show. What do I talk about? Don't be cute with me, Dave, okay? I had a hard-fought title defense, okay? I told everybody that Danny Jordan was the real deal. Nobody seemed to believe me, but now people are singing her praises after that because I'm so good. And I've just realized on the bottom it still says Raw Women's Champion. I need to update that. Remind me. Own Con will remind me, so because by the time the comments see this, it will have already been changed. That's fine. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I told everyone how good Danny Jordan was, and they didn't believe me, but now people seem to be singing her praises because I helped get the best match of her life out of her, but yet Nova Nebula thinks that's the perfect time to dig up old dirt. I thought I was done with that weirdo. But he says, well, you mean you cheated to beat her at WrestleMania and then didn't pin her in the Fatal 4-Way at Backlash? So I understand the gripe. It's like, well, she could have been the challenger for Starrcade. And Batista went, no, she couldn't because you banned her from competing in Queen's Gambit. So I was like, you know, Dave, I'm still really starting to not like you. I know you're best friends with my dad and all that, but my dad's clearly got a poor taste in character because you're being a bit of... I thought it would be an easy time being on your show, but you're being a bit of a bitch. Batista goes, well, I'd rather be a fair bitch than the nicest guy in the world who gives out favors to children of his friends. So Nova may end up getting a fair shot at your title. I can't say so for sure, but I will say that on Heat this week, Nova will team with Danny Jordan to take on Ava and Ariana. Charlotte goes, great. Of course she will. Okay. And then cut backstage. Kathy Kelly's with DIY. And a very beaten up Johnny Gargano, but a proud Johnny Gargano. She's like, last week, Gargano, we saw Johnny wrestling back here. We saw him. You nearly took that Intercontinental Championship from Chad Gable. You came up, Josh showed him what many are calling one of the best matches in the history of Monday Night Raw. It's like, yeah, it's bittersweet because I am proud of what me and Chad did last week, but also I should be standing here the Intercontinental Champion. I've done it twice before, so I don't know what the big deal was this time. And Ciampa says, look on the bright side, Johnny. We finally reminded the world just who the hell we are. Okay? And that is DIY. No one's going to do it else. We've got to do it ourselves. So, I'm in a fighting mood tonight. You're in a fighting mood tonight. Let's have a fight. Let's pick a fight with somebody. And then Gunter and Imperium walk in. He goes, you want to talk about fights? Funny. There was a kid stood here last week that was giving it the same talk that you're giving it now. And I put him in his place, so my boys Giovanni and Ludwig would happily do the same thing to you tonight. And then Wes Lee walks, he's like, whoa, you can't be talking about me, can you now, Gunnar? I mean, I know you came up short and I know you fractured my cheek, but hey, I gave you a good go, and if these boys need a partner to take on y'all three in a 6-man tag team match, I'm their guy. And yeah, so it's a made official DIY or team with Wes Lee tonight against all 3 members of Imperium. Let's see how that goes. Sounds like a fucking banger on paper. I believe Ciampa in game is actually the weak link of that, so that's how you know it's going to be a banger. 76. Okay, I was going to say that's good for what this is, but then I read the 2 red notes, and that's really good for what this is, because this is no chemistry and a lack of psychology, quote unquote, and it gets a 76. So yeah, that's really impressive, you know. And it is 10:47. Roxy does beat Mandy Rose to retain the Liberty title for the 5th time of her reign. She gets a 71, 65 for Mandy. It says Roxy has a strong connection with the younger female demographic who really liked her winning. We love that for her. And with that defense of the Liberty title, not only is she still the champion, but she is also the first confirmed woman in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We'll find out the second later on tonight when Zelina Vega faces Piper Niven. But for now, the first is Roxy Perez. Her first time entering Money in the Bank. They come backstage. Nova's backstage. And she's approached by Jordan, Aaliyah, and Skylar. And Nova's like, hey, you know, great match Saturday, you know. Came out just short, you know. One day it'll be your time, just you couldn't quite get it done on Saturday. But now, it's my time, okay? Charlotte's been ducking me since WrestleMania because she knows she cheated. I should be stood here as the WWE Women's Champion right now. But I'm not. It's because of Ava and Ariana getting their nose involved at WrestleMania where it didn't belong. So, tonight on Heat, me and Jude are going to team up. We're going to take those 2 down. And then Money in the Bank, when it's all riding on me, I'm going to beat Charlotte. And I'm going to become the new WWE Women's Champion. And Jordan's like, sounds like a plan. So yeah, that's a tag match on Heat. We're just going to build up on this show because I like to build up Heat because I want people to watch Heat because it's got a team who won War Games on it. We then cut back to Batista's office. And Batista's just chilling when in walks MVP's like, Dave, you know, I know you and I haven't always seen eye to eye here. And you and the almighty Bobby Lashley also haven't always seen eye to eye here. But I know you like making money. And as the Raw General Manager, it's your responsibility to put on the biggest matches that you can. So you see, Money in the Bank's coming up, and I don't see a spot for the almighty Bobby Lashley. Okay? You got those New Day guys running around there like they're world beaters because Big E got the jump on our weapon Damon Kemp last week. Okay? Well, that ain't happening again. Next week, New Day tell them to pick their guy because the almighty will see him in the ring. And if you want to make that, you know, a qualifier for Money in the Bank, that sounds like smart business to me, Dave. I mean, he's like, you know what, it's actually a perfect time that you came to speak to me, MVP, because I actually was finalizing next week's Money in the Bank qualifying matches, and I was toying with which of the New Day to put in the match and who against, but you do make a lot of sense. You're speaking my language, P, and it's official next week. Money in the Bank qualifier, Bobby Lashley against a member of the New Day. It's like, great job, Batista. You know, I always knew I liked you better than I liked John Cena. And then he walks out. Batista's like, thanks. Then see a Dudley Davis pre-tape. He's just chilling backstage. He's like, Randy Orton, you know, I don't know what your beef is with me. Well, he came out after my match last week at Kyle O'Reilly. Me and him tore the house down. And then you thought this would be the time for you to strike. You've been in hiding, hibernating like a little snake since you lost at Backlash and you got humbled by Cody. But I guess you think I'm easy prey? Well, think again, mate, because but next time I see you as on site, you're going to get bopped and banged. Don't think because you're a legend that I'm going to take it easy on you, because You don't RKO Dudley Davis and expect to get away with it. Because I ain't gonna let that fly. So, come see me next week, man to man, face to face, and tell me what our issue is here. And if it's something that can't be resolved, then I'll resolve it with my fists. 90. Again, Kyle O'Reilly might be a god, you know. He's personally scores a 79, but he still gets a 90 here. Aleister Black and Kyle O'Reilly, I knew it would be good, but that's, yeah, a blue. We never turn down a blue. Yeah, Aleister Black wins his second match back. This one's kind of competitive, and it's actually just a banger, you know. 10 minutes 49 Black Mass, 82 for Aleister, 79 for Kyle O'Reilly, and yeah, another big win for Aleister Black. Or not another big win. His first win was against R-Truth in 3 minutes, but yeah, a big win for Aleister Black. We then cut back to we've been here a lot recently, the medical room, especially with this man Montez Ford, and the doctors are like, Bianca's there, and they're like, why did you let him go out and wrestle like that? He's like, but he needed to be in Money in the Bank, okay? Tez, I've as the franchise player, I've got what I need to be. I'm at the top of the Raw Women's division. I need to bring my man up with me. And I want him to be in Money in the Bank to cement him and get him a shot at the world title. And then the doctors looked at him like, yeah, well, now you've injured him. Good job. And then he's like, girl, don't you talk to me like that, okay? I could whip your ass. I don't care who you are. I'll whip all your asses if you lay a finger on me or my man here, okay? And Ted's like, Bianca, chill, you know, it's fine. It's my fault, you know. I know you used a wish up to get me in that match. I should have said no. But I really want to be in it. And it sucks that I'm not going to be. But I'm out. I'm hurt now. And I don't know. I need a couple of weeks off. Because this is exhausting. Being a top guy is exhausting, Bianca. I don't know how you manage it. And she's like, yeah, thanks, you know. I guess I'm just born different. So yeah. Bianca, her quest to, I guess, raise Montez Ford's stock has sort of backfired because she's been trying to force him into matches. And he's hurt now. He's wrestled Gunter. He's wrestled Shinsuke Nakamura twice. He's not in Money in the Bank. And Bianca's wasted a wish, basically. Sucks. Hate that for her. But we move. We then cut our heroes. We cut to Carlin and Sensei to start with. And they sort of turn around and they're like, come on, pick up the pace. And then we see Dio, Manny, and Saray leave the Dungeon of Doom and just collapse to the floor. And Sensei's like, come on, you know, we've only just got out of the cave, you know, you can rest when we get back. Manny's like, well, okay, well, you try having your soul stolen and possessed by an evil dark father, okay, and having to fight Hulk Hogan. Okay, you didn't have to fight Hulk Hogan. And Sensei's like, I mean, yeah, you're right there, sorry. But anyway, yeah. Why don't, you know, if you're so worn out, why don't we carry you? You know, Carlin, you carry Manny, and I carry Saray. And Dio's like, well, what about me? Sensei's like, well, you shouldn't be so big, should you, Dio, okay? And then they leave, Carlin carrying Manny, Sensei carrying Saray, and Dio slogging it behind. But, you know, Dio slogging it behind actually has a purpose, because when he's, like, catching his breath, he leans down to catch his breath and he sees something on a rock. He's like, guys? He's like, remember why we left in the first place? You know, evil guy after the pendant again, you know, that whole Dungeon of Doom thing was like a side quest. I'm like, oh, yeah. It's like, well, look at this. If this ain't a hint to an evil villain's location, I don't know what is. Man's like, well, what does it say? And Dio opens it up, and he's like, it's a riddle that we've got to solve. Manny goes, well, I'm good at problem solving. What's it say? And Dio's like, it isn't in English. It's not in any language I can understand. It's not French. It's not Spanish. It's not Japanese. What does this all mean? Carlin looks over as well. Sensei, Saray all look at it. None of them can decipher this code. And Manny goes, oh, boy, a mystery. Just what I wanted coming out of a fight against Hulk Hogan. So, we're now back on track with the main arc. After we got sidetracked with that Dungeon of Doom shit because it was a WCW pay-per-view and I thought that would be funny. But yeah, they've got a clue to the new villain's location. But it's not written in English, so we don't know what it says. We then come back to the ring. We have our second match with the Fierce and the Fabulous. And it's Shayna again. Super kick Kirifuda clutch combo on Madeline Fields and Lavender Sky, 2 developmental regens. In action, Madeline Fields has a gimmick that's getting stale. Okay. 27 for Lavender, 42 for Madeline, 55 for Carmella, and a 74 for Shayna. So yes, our Lucha Girls, let's call them, our AAA stars, continue to pick up wins since their return here in WWE. But then after the match, Rhea Ripley storms to the ring. And Rhea Ripley, she looks down at Lavender and Madeline on the floor. You know, these 2 local girls, these 2 jokes that have time on this show that she doesn't have. She boots them both to the floor and starts beating them up. And then locks them probably... I think she can do this because she did it to Aaliyah and Robert Stone at the same time in real life, so I know she can do it. Locks them both in that submission at the same time. Carmella and Shayna have sort of just like shrugged their shoulders like, okay, well, we fucking won, so let's go to the back. And referees are trying to pull Rhea off. Chad Patton, the man who was the referee for the match, like gets Carmella and Shayna not Carmella and Shayna, Madeline and Lavender off Rhea. And Rhea's shouting at the referee. And she kicks the referee, she knocks Chad Patton on his ass. And Chad Patton takes a riptide as well. And Batista's like, no, Rhea, stop. Rick Boogs rushes to the ring as well. Like, he rushes to the ring, Batista's still on the ramp. It's like, no, Rhea, this is unacceptable, okay? For the last couple of weeks, you've dominated, you've injured Tegan Knox, Kylie Ray, among other women. But this has to stop. I can't condone this. Rhea's like, well, where's my time on this show, huh? I've got to make time myself by destroying other women. I've got to take out all the competition to get back to the top. So be it, Dave. It's on your watch. It's like, well, you're not going to be top for a while because putting your hands on an official is a 30-day suspension. So I'm going to need you to get out of that ring and get out of my building because you're out of here for 30 days. And then Boogs is in her face. And she's like, oh, suspended, am I? 30 days, okay, see if I care. What you've just done is you've just given me free reign until I leave this ring to do whatever the hell I want. And then she smacks Rick Boogs, takes Boogs down. Boogs takes a riptide, and Boogs gets locked in that submission hold. He screams in pain. He's like, Dave. And then finally we get security to get Rhea off and escort Rhea away. But the damage has been caused. And, yeah. Rhea is now suspended for 30 days, a 30-day vacay for the Nightmare. Done as a way to keep her out of Money in the Bank and a potential Queen of the Ring tournament that might start at the end of the month, you could say. I would never say such a thing, but I'm sure this suspension may keep her out of those tournaments as a way to not have her get pinned. Hypothetically. I mean, if you wanted to take that approach, you could. I'm not going to, but... We then cut to the Title Squad record studio with their new member Elias. He's just sat there strumming. And he's like, Elias? And he's like, what? He's like, are you going to do anything else? You going to come with the crew? And he's like, nah, I'm good. He continues strumming. Titus like, you're good? What do you mean you're good? Okay, you're part of Titus World Records, okay? We need you branding, we need to get you merchandise, we need to pimp the hell, sell the hell out of your Emerald, okay? Did you know Elias has an album? Hallelujah, I'm going in. Amen, they call it. We need to get that out there, get that back on shelves, okay? We need to market you as the next top star here in the music world and in WWE. Elias is like, nah, I'm good being my independent self, actually. And the Ty's like, well, then why the hell are you here? And he's like, well, I just wanted to join this. I heard there was a musical thing going on. I wanted to join because I like the world to know that I'm a musical genius. And he just continues just strumming on his guitar. And Shanky's there. He's like, what's the problem, Titus? He's like, this is going to take a while. And then we just see Titus' stressed out face zoomed in on as Elias, we can just hear him just plucking away in the background, just doing his own thing. 85, yeah, I'll take, considering a combination of Wes Lee's injury, Ciampa, and apparently Ludwig being off his game, and Gunther having a stale gimmick. This is probably the best I could have hoped for, actually, with all of that added up. But it is Imperium again, pick up another win when they defeat Wes Lee in DIY. Gunther pins Wes Lee with a last symphony. 80 for Vinci, 77 for Ludwig, 96 for Gunther, 71 for Wes, 72 for Ciampa, and 93 for Johnny. And yeah, just another big Imperium TV banger. That's what Gunther's really doing right now, and it's a good role for him because, he keeps on winning and he keeps on having bangers. What else can you ask for? We then come backstage to Planet Jarrett. And he's like, boys, War Games didn't go our way, but we may have been in over our head challenging that group anyway, because that is a group of top stars and we are a group of carnies at the end of the day. But, speaking of carnies, the next pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, and nobody knows more about Money in the Bank than us. Okay? When it comes to securing money, nobody does that better than us, and that's why next week I got Bobby Roode, and I got Finn Balor, and I'm going to win, and I'm going to get that briefcase, and I'm going to get back at Cody. And then Adam Cole and the Paragon walk in. He's like, help, I overheard you talking, I just wanted to just let it be known that this thing between us, not personal, nothing personal, it was just, you just happened to be in my way for me to deliver my message, deliver the boom to Cody at Starrcade, but, you are getting in my way now, because my man Bobby Roode is getting in Money in the Bank next week, not you. And then Jeff Jarrett gets in Adam Cole's face, like, well, you're getting in my way because your boys, those Fritz brothers, are getting a tag title match next week, and not the Good Brothers here. Okay, there's only one pair of brothers in this room that deserve a tag title opportunity. It's these two here, these two Baldski brothers. Okay? So there may not have been a problem here, but it looks like there's gonna be. Now, Cole's like, whoa, what's up? Okay, I don't want to fight. I just want to wish you, let you know that Bobby is the one getting in that Money in the Bank ladder match. And they sort of just leave. But some tension between Planet Jarrett and the Paragon. We then cut backstage, just one of those post-match interviews they always do, where Roxy's there after beating Mandy earlier on tonight. Kathy goes, Roxy, still Liberty Champion, and for the first time in your career, you're going to be in Money in the Bank. She's like, it's been so much, I grew up watching Money in the Bank, so I never thought I'd be in one, because even back then they didn't do them for the women, but now they do them for the women, and now I'm in one, and I've got this Liberty Championship. I may be the youngest Money in the Bank competitor of all time, I'm not sure, I'll have to Google that when I'm at home, but it's going to be great. It's going to be one of the greatest moments of my career, win, lose, or draw. I'm here, I'm a champion, I'm going to Money in the Bank, I've got my idol by my side. Life's good right now, Kathy. And AJ's like, yes, and Roxy will do well in that Money in the Bank ladder match, even though she's not going to win it. Roxy's like, but what the hell? What do you mean I'm not going to win it? Do you not have faith in me? It's like, oh, no, I do have faith in you, and you would win it in any other time. But next week, I have a Money in the Bank qualifier, and I'm going to win. I'm going to be in that match, and once I'm in that match with you, I won't take it easy on you just because, you're like my baby girl. And Rocky's like, hey, you're in a qualifier? And AJ's like, yeah, have you got a problem with that? It's like, no, that's awesome. It's going to be great to actually, lock it up with you on pay-per-view in that ring. And then AJ's like, oh, yeah, I thought you'd have an issue, like, you don't seem to like me getting opportunities, is all I'll say. Rock's like, huh? He's like, oh, it's nothing, I've got a match to prepare for next week, See you around, girl. See you in London. And AJ walks off. And Roxy's like, well, okay, weird, but we move. I'm in Money in the Bank. 70, whatever. We take it. Piper Niven, Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega beats Piper Niven, moonsault, 6:46. 73 for Zelina, 58 for Piper. Not really in doubt here, because Piper Niven's barely been used, if at all, since the draft. But I had no other heels to put Zelina against. 58 for Piper, 73. I've said all this. Yeah. So Zelina Vega, another short Latina, is in Money in the Bank. There's a type in that match right now, with Roxy Perez and now Zelina Vega. Speaking of women's Money in the Bank, Batista, he's all stressed out. He goes, Boogs is hospital, and I could really use another hand here because, Rhea was in a Money in the Bank qualifier next week, but now she's suspended, so now she's got to be replaced against AJ, and I just need help. I just wish God would send me somebody to help me solve the situation. And he opens the door and Alexa's there. Dave! Just who I was looking for. And he's like, oh, what this time? It's like, well, last year, I don't mean to brag, but last year I cooked up quite the mighty fine Money in the Bank ladder match. And I was the Raw General Manager at the time. I don't know if you remember. I was really good at it. But then, a couple of conspiracies and, people working together to get me kicked out of my job. The usual stuff. Anyway, I couldn't help but see that Boogs, he's not around. And you need some help cocking up a fire match for next week in place of Rhea Ripley. Batista goes, well, you did hear that correctly, I guess. And she's like, I know a girl. And she's like, let me guess. It's you. She's like, no. What makes you think that I'd pick... Okay, but this is why it should be me. Because, I've won, I can't even count how many world titles. I've won Money in the Bank before, something nobody in this match so far has done. And, well, I'm just a star, and people love me. But he's like, oh. Here's the actual solution I've got. On Heat, there'll be a fatal four-way match to determine who will face AJ next week for a spot in Money in the Bank. I will allow you to enter that match. And if you win it, you get AJ next week. And if you don't, you've blown it. You're bad. It's like, great. I won't let you down. And she leaves. And Batista just mutters under his breath. He's like, not letting me down would be losing, but we'll see. We then get a clip of... I imagine it's from an airport in London. Because, they've been to Paris. That's where they went for their fashion spree. But something terrible has happened. Something astronomically bad has happened. The Maximum Male models didn't all make it back. Elton Prince is stuck in Paris. No, boy. I know you're devastated. But it's Tyler Breeze is probably just chilling on a chair, not bothered. While Tonya and Kit run around sticking posters of Elton Prince's face. If you see this man arrive in this airport, let us know, here's our number. And then they can't reach Elton, he's stuck in Paris with no signal or whatever. His plane got delayed. So, what this is a fun side story. Hashtag find Elton, we can call it, or something like that. Because Elton Prince is apparently on painkillers. So, I've suspended him for a month. And I'm going to cheat them off him because I'm not having that ruin my booking of Pretty Deadly because I'm booking Pretty Deadly. So I'll suspend him for a month, get him off them, and then we can be sorted. But for now, we can do hashtag find Elton or hashtag bring Elton home or something silly like that. Because that it would eat. Speaking of eating, that's what next week's Money in the Bank qualifiers are going to do, because as we heard, it'll be a member of the New Day against Bobby Lashley, and take a guess which one they've picked. our boy Xavier Woods goes one-on-one with the almighty Bobby Lashley on next week's episode of Raw for a Money in the Bank qualifier, but that's not the only men's Money in the Bank qualifier. We'll learn the fourth man from Raw in that match when Jeff Jarrett, Finn Balor, and Bobby Roode face off in a triple threat. We also have two women's Money in the Bank qualifiers, the first being Shotzi Blackheart and Julia going one-on-one for a spot in Money in the Bank, and the second being AJ Lee against whoever wins the Fatal 4-Way. I can't remember all the participants off my head, but we did just hear that Alexa's in it. So whoever wins that will face AJ next week. Also next week is a big championship match when Kevin and David Fritz of the Paragon are the latest challengers for Humberto Carrillo and Zergus the Mighty, the Path of the Dragon, for the Raw Tag Team Championship. So moving on from Raw and to what we have set for Money in the Bank in London at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in 3 weeks' time. We have an Intercontinental Championship match, one final time. Sheamus' last attempt to get the one title that's eluded him his whole career, and he and Chad Gable go one-on-one in London. And then we also have the confirmed entrance into the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, those being Roxy Perez, the Liberty Champion, and Zelina Vega of the LWO. And then on the men's side, we're going to find out the second qualified man in the main event up next. But so far, we only know one man, and that's Shinsuke Nakamura of Ichiban. Main event gets a 77. That's kind of disappointing, actually. I thought this would cook. I've just seen who carried Dominik Mysterio was head and shoulders above everybody else. Yeah. So here's what happens. Warden dominates, as you'd expect. This man beat Brock Lesnar, and I'm trying my hardest not to cool him off, but he's not immediately entering the title picture, so it's been fairly difficult. But I like to think I've still managed to keep him dominant while also feuding with Grayson Waller. So, Warden is dominant. He powerbombs everybody. He delivers big old powerbombs. He probably powerbombs Anthony Nese as well at some point. Maybe through the announce table. But then I imagine he goes to powerbomb Dominik Mysterio. And then Grayson Waller jumps on the back of Warden to save his best friend. And, Warden throws him off, clotheslines him down. Dominik Mysterio low blows Warden. And then Dominik and Grayson Waller double team and take Warden down. And they both go to pin him at the same time. And that leads to a little bit of an argument between our two best friends. And then, when they're arguing, I imagine Ray dropkicks one of them. Will probably be Dominik, actually, yeah. I imagine the scenario is like, Waller is stood with his back up against the ropes. Dominik's in front of him, they're looking at each other, but Dominik's facing the ropes, and Waller's back's to the ropes, so when Ray dropkicks Dom in the back, he can style forward and fall in position for a 619, while Grayson Waller falls to the side. And then, bang, Ray hits the 619 on his son, and then he hits the splash, but as he gets up from hitting the splash, he's nailed with that rolling cutter by Grayson Waller, who then pins Rey Mysterio to qualify for Money in the Bank. He stole one here, that son of a bitch. 88 for Dom, 72 for Grayson Waller, 73 for Rey Mysterio, and a 79 for Warden. So Dominik, far and away the best in this match. 88, that's world champion form. But the second member of Raw roster in Money in the Bank will be Grayson Waller. He's doing a shoey, fuck it, why not? But the show's not over, because as Grayson Waller's doing a shoey on the announce table, I guess we didn't smash it because, I need it set up for that. Wrestling has more than one royal family. Out comes Cody with his clique, and it's like, so, what do you guys want to talk about? Let's not waste any time. I know what you want to talk about. I know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Adam Cole, baby. Cole, somebody I've always looked at as a future star here in WWE. A little known fact, but one that might be quite obvious to most of you, is that when I was away from WWE and I was an executive in another company, Adam Cole was the sort of guy that I was hoping that we could take from WWE to really make a statement of intent by how we can steal the biggest stars in wrestling. But that didn't happen, and now Adam Cole, baby, is a scumbag. Adam Cole tricked me, rused me into believing I should have seen through it. Okay, this man has the nerve to call Kevin Owens a backstabber and a snake and a liar, but all he's ever done is stab his friends in the back, and it's only a matter of time before he does it to the Paragon too. So, Adam Cole, it would mean the world to me to take your ass to London, put you in the ground, and defeat you to keep my WWE Championship. And there we go. Confirmed at Money in the Bank in 3 weeks' time. Cody Rhodes will defend the WWE Championship against Adam Cole. But that finishes the show. 88. Pretty good for that mid-main event. But yeah, that is Raw. It's actually, I don't want to say fairly quick because it is still 40 minutes, but like, I have an hour to record. I was like, am I going to do it all in time? Yeah, I did. Yeah. But what matters more, well, it doesn't matter more at all, but what is up next is Heat. Heat kicks off with a 74 rated tag team match. That's actually pretty good again. I say that a lot. Maybe I should just raise my expectations for matches in general. Nova and Danny Jordan do pick up the win over Ava Raine and Ariana Grace. Nova Nebula pins Ariana with the area 451. Danny Jordan gets a 70, 79 for Nova Nebula, 41 for Ariana, and a 57 for Ava. So yes, Charlotte will not be happy. The Royal Dynasty have tasted defeat here on Heat at the hands of her mortal enemy and her former protege turned new enemy, I guess. Didn't get 37. I wasn't expecting much here. I was low-key hoping that it could get past because they've got decent momentum, but nah, Kathy Kelly and Shantae have a bang average match. I'll keep calling her Kathy Kelly. Kathy Cool gets a 35 and a 53 for Shantae Washington. She wins with a razzle dazzle. And then I haven't put a segment in, but they probably on the mic brag about ending the legendary career of those Hall of Famers inside War Games and how the past has been taken over by the next gen. And now it's time to look for the present. 73. I'm not going to drum this home as like, David Martin versus Pete Dunne tier, because, Idris and Malik wrestled Bryan Danielson and Cesaro. David Martin wrestled Pete Dunne, so this was to complete the set. VLA's chance to go out there and have a banger. It's against Utami. She wins in 12:54. 73 for the match, 82 for Utami, 47 for VLA, who I think is the least popular of the bunch anyway, because she does wrestle the least. So yeah, that checks out. And then the main event, before the main event though, we get Maki and Gorilla. So I can now confirm the Fatal 4-Way it's Maki, Alexa, Aoi, and Xia Li. And the winner of this will go on to face AJ next week on Raw. And Maki's in Gorilla getting ready when Brooks is there in his J-Flow merch, J-Flow cap. He's cheering her on. And he's like, I'm going to come out and be by her side. And Maki's like, no, you stay here. Like a good little simp. Pats him on the head. Probably dads genuinely call him a simp because, it's Maki and he's Brooks. So, and then he sits and waits in Gorilla during Maki's match. I'll give you one guess who takes the pin in this match. Wrong, it's not. It's, Xia Li gets pinned by Aoi Maikawa. Aoi Maikawa picks up the win, and she'll be the one facing AJ Lee next week for a spot in Money in the Bank. Her and Alexa both score 71, a 68 for Xia. She's come along quite nicely, like in the last couple of weeks, since I've really been trying to focus on getting her elevated. And then Maki gets a 78, she carries the match, and makes it a 77, makes it as good as it was. But, yeah, a big episode of Heat, no stories really advancing, but, some important matches with stakes. And that ends the show, gets us a 74, doesn't really matter, what matters more is what you thought of Raw. So do let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for SmackDown with their build towards Money in the Bank. See you then.